Okay, so welcome to homework number 7, where we're going to look at utility software. So, now, utility software isn't simply just antivirus software. Did you know that when we make folders, that is thanks to a utility software? Did you know that you are using a utility software to zip your files? Okay, so when we get all our files, put them in one folder, zip it, and then email it. Backups. So if our computer shuts down automatically without warning, and also our files are being backed up every 10 minutes, again it's thanks to utility software. And then scanning and cleaning. Okay, so trying to make sure that our system is obviously being used at the maximum level it should be. So now what we're going to look at is utility programs. There's many different utility programs. So here's a list of some of them that I've got here. So deleted data, disk defragmentation, user accounts and security, antivirus software, formatting, encryption and decryption, system cleanup, and software updates. These are all different types of utility programs. So a utility program basically is just a piece of software, okay? And it does one specific thing, and it does that one specific thing very well, okay? Such as compressing your files and defragmenting your hard drive, because obviously there's lots and lots and lots on your hard drive, okay? Your operating system's on your hard drive. All the files that you save go onto your hard drive. So now and again you've got fragments of files that simply need to be removed and free up some space. And also many utilities come as part of the operating system. Okay, so if you look through your operating system and take a look, such as system information, system restore, disk cleanup, all come parts of the operating system. So these can be provided by the operating system, as I said a minute ago. System cleanup is one example. Or they can be installed separately and bought separately. So generally your antivirus software is something that you buy separately and install it. Now, utility programs usually have one dedicated role, okay, but it's not part of the normal routine of an operating system. Okay, so as I said, they do one thing specifically and do it well. So for example, disk defragmentation may take place when you want it to. Okay, it's not something that will take place on a regular basis, like daily or weekly or monthly, I suppose, unless you want it to. Okay, so these programs are associated basically with the usage of the hard disk drive. So as I said, your hard disk drive, you rely on it for everything. Okay, everything is saved on there. Now, so hard disk formatter and checker. Okay, so here's an example of where it's checking each fragment of the hard drive here. Okay, so it will typically carry out the following tasks. This is what it does generally. So removing existing data from the disk that has been used previously, setting up a file system on a disk based on an array of contents that allows the file to be recognised and assigned with physical parts of the disk. And in separating a disk into logical drives, so if this is only required, okay? Now, what it does here is another useful part of a utility program. Maybe the component is an analysis for the problem to be repaired. So if you've got a problem with your hard drive, it may have a tool on there that analyses the problems and suggests how it can be repaired. So it will check for the errors on the disk and repair the problems. It's as simple as that. Now, some problems obviously on a hard disk drive can be physical, and these are known as bad sectors. So like for example, on my last laptop, my hard disk drive did break, and we did no idea why. It just broke, and it couldn't be fixed because that was a bad sector. It was a physical problem. it just happened. So, and these can arise basically from the manufacturing process where the computer is moved and the disk has moved away from the disk surface. Okay, so or maybe so if it moves away, if the disk heads move away from the surface, then obviously the disk cannot be read. So that is a physical problem, not a software problem. But there's other errors as well, so such as loss of power, error causing the computer to shut down suddenly, and these are known as abnormal events. Okay, so like a loss of power can be, for example, like a power cut. Okay, and these result in the events that the data on the disk may become corrupt, and disk repair will restore back to its original state by marking the bad sectors. So now, hard disk defragmentation. So what this is. So this could be categorized as a disk repair, but it's not the primary purpose. Okay, so the disk is constantly in use, as you know, with creating files and deleting files and editing, and it does leave fragments, okay, that take up a lot of space on your hard drive. So they need to be removed. So as you can see, here's an example. So let's take a look here. So you've got sections 0 to 3, section 4, sections 5 and to 7, and then sections 8 and 9. So let's look at the files. You've got file A here in section 0 to 3. Okay, then section 4, there's file B. And here we've got 5 to 7, we've got file C. And then over here in 8 and 9, there's file A. Okay, so now to begin with, file A uses sections 1 to 3. And then sections 1 and 2 fully. Okay, so you can see here. Sorry, there we go. And then part of 3. Okay, so then here, file B is then deleted and a section remains unoccupied. Okay, and this is because the file was very small and they're not rearranged due to many system overheads. So if the files were arranged every time the file was edited or deleted, okay, then we've got file A is extended so it fills the first section of 0 to 3 and then section 8, okay, section 8 and part of 9, and section 4 will be occupied again with the small file created. So the disk defragmenter of the utility program will reorganize the file storage to return it to a state where all the files are attached in those sectors. Okay, so that's what it does. Now, backup software. Okay, so according to Techopedia, this is the definition. So backup software is any application that enables the backup files, folders or documents or software data, okay, most data types or the computer and server as a whole. So the backup software enables the creation of an exact duplicate of that file to be used for restoring the original files in case of any corruption. Okay, so in case of accidental or intentional deletion or disaster. So for example, you may take your files that are on your hard drive and maybe back them up onto your Google Drive. So you've got an exact copy. So if anything happens, you still have that data. Now, what is it used for? Okay, so it's primarily used as a means to keep a backup of important data residing on a computer or a server hard drive. So it can be used for local or individual computers, or for enterprise computers or enterprise servers and networking devices. So anyone can use a backup. Now, the backup software is for individual or general use of selected files and important operating system files on the same computer or hard drive. So rather than you making the backups, you're going to get, the software can do this for you. Okay, and the advanced or enterprise level software is typically integrated with each computer or server on a node. Basically, a node is like a client computer, and the backup selected files and folders are on a scheduled basis or as required. Okay, so you may be able to back up yourself, or you can schedule it. All right, so maybe you say once a week, once a month, or every 3 months, my files should be backed up. So this transmits the duplicated data over the network or the internet to the server. Okay, and this generally is cloud-based. So the backup software has the ability to compress the data and reduce it to a smaller size or as required. So for example, if you look on your smartphones, like for example, I've got Samsung backup, then basically my backups go onto a cloud, okay, with Samsung. Right, so now backup software. So backup software, so you can perform annual backups every so often, basically using a flash memory stick or a portable hard drive. But the software is much safer, a much more reliable approach, because as I said, you can schedule it to back up periodically. Now, you can use your flash or portable storage device to store your backup software, but utility software will control the process. So scheduling backups periodically creates new backup files when changes have taken place. Now the problem is with flash drives is they do get lost and they do get broken. And the problem is if they get lost, obviously you can't find them, but if they get broken, you cannot recover that data. So really it's like as if you have to back up your flash drive. Now, file compression, okay? So this is a way of simply getting large files, putting them in a folder, and then you compress them to make them smaller. So WinZip is a very well known one. So it reduced the files such as documents, spreadsheets, images, videos and audio files. So as you well know, images and video files and audio files can all be quite big. So now, several data items can be placed in one folder and compressed in one zip file. Then that zip file can be emailed and it can be moved onto the cloud storage very easily and very quickly. So it is important that files can be transmitted, and email is probably one of the most common. So they take up less space on a hard drive as well, which is of course a space saver. Now, your virus checker program. So this is a utility software that you may go out and purchase and add onto your computer. And there's many different ones, many different brands, as you can see here. Kaspersky is very well known. Norton, McAfee are very well known as well. Okay, so now all this is simply a database. Okay, it's a database of well-known viruses, malware and other malicious types of content. And what this does is that anything that tries to enter your computer, it compares it to the database, and then if it matches, it won't let it in. Okay, so as I said, it looks for a match between the database or the scanned files, and then it stops them from entering your computer. Okay, that's all it does. So as I said earlier, utility software does one thing, and it does that one thing very well. So now, a virus checker really should be a permanent installation in a computer, and it should be updated regularly. So when you buy the virus checking software and install it onto a computer, whenever there's an update, it will update on your, you should update it on your computer. So if there's any more viruses that have been transmitted, the database will be updated to stop them from getting through. So, but it would only be used when a file has entered onto the system, and it cannot basically be, in the ideal state is that it cannot be recognised. So when the virus is created, it's unknown to the system and it cannot be recognised, and it may be realised when a virus checker is updated. Right, thank you for watching. So complete the questions in your workbook and then attempt the exam questions at the back. Please subscribe and like my videos. Any teachers that are watching this, visit my shop on TESS and follow me on Twitter.